Managing a multi-chain portfolio right now, it feels like trying to cook a five-course meal, but in five completely different kitchens spread across town.
Yeah, that is exactly what it feels like.
Right. Like you're managing gas tokens over here, manually bridging assets over there, and just hoping your transactions clear before the market moves. It is honestly exhausting. So welcome to today's deep dive. We're exploring the major friction points of modern decentralized finance. Specifically, we're looking at source material for the ITLX wallet, which claims to solve this massive headache with a unified interface.
And it's a structural shift worth examining because for years, the DeFi ethos was all about giving users raw, unfiltered access to decentralized networks.
Which meant doing everything yourself.
Exactly. It naturally resulted in this heavily fragmented, really manual process. But the ITLX material pitches a complete departure from that. They're talking about bringing asset management across 8 different chains into one single streamlined environment.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the pain points they highlight, the endless platform hopping and trying to track different network rules, those are totally valid.
Oh, 100%.
But I have to push back a bit on their solution here. Like whenever an app promises to seamlessly integrate 8 entirely separate blockchain ecosystems, my immediate thought is just, well, bloat.
Right, you expect this cluttered dashboard.
Exactly. How does ITLX actually combine all that complexity without the interface just becoming this clunky, unusable mess with 1,000 different toggles?
Well, it avoids that bloat through a design concept called UI abstraction. What's fascinating here is that the wallet isn't just cramming 8 different network dashboards onto one screen.
Okay, so what is it doing instead?
It separates your intent from the execution. So when you connect to distinct networks, the wallet natively speaks their specific RPC calls in the background. That's essentially the underlying network language.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, so the user-facing layer remains completely standardized. You just see your balances and select what you want to do.
So instead of you having to adapt to the logic of each specific chain, the wallet acts like a universal translator.
Exactly. That's a perfect way to put it.
That makes sense. But let's look at what it's actually translating, because the material focuses heavily on how this interface handles swaps and bridges, specifically combining them into a single cross-chain transaction.
Right. And if you've spent any time in DeFi, you know the standard drill for moving capital locally or bridging it across networks. It's a hassle.
A massive hassle. Historically, executing a cross-chain swap meant you were in for a stressful, 10 minutes.
Oh, easily 10 minutes.
You trade into a bridgeable asset, move to a third-party app, authorize the smart contract, wait anxiously for network confirmations, jump to the destination chain, and then trade again. But ITLX claims this entire workflow now takes just a few seconds.
Great.
Wait, so how are they physically executing that heavy lifting under the hood to make it a single action?
Well, they can do that because of automated routing protocols and liquidity aggregation. When you request a cross-chain swap, say, taking an asset on chain A and wanting a completely different asset on chain B, the wallet's backend algorithms instantly map out the most efficient path.
Okay, so it finds the route.
Right. It interacts with smart contracts to execute a trade using a local liquidity pool on the origin chain, triggers a messaging protocol to lock those assets, and then simultaneously signals the destination chain to release the equivalent value.
Wow.
Yeah, and then that value is immediately routed through a local pool for your final asset.
That's crazy. It's essentially a financial relay race happening at light speed. It's kind of like having a friend in New York and a friend in Tokyo.
Okay, I like this analogy. Go on.
So instead of mailing physical American dollars to Tokyo and having your friend exchange them at a local bank, your New York friend hands the dollars to a local broker. And that broker instantly sends a secure cryptographic text to a broker in Tokyo, who then hands your other friend the equivalent yen. The communication is the bridge, but the actual liquid assets never had to physically cross the ocean in a slow, risky envelope.
Yes. And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, that relay race analogy is exactly why the unified interface matters.
Because it hides the complexity.
Exactly. The user doesn't need to know the names of the brokers or the routing path of the text message. The wallet just abstracts all the smart contract approvals, the liquidity pool interactions, and the bridge messaging into one single click of a confirm button.
So what does this all mean for you listening? The core takeaway from the ITLX material isn't just about saving a few minutes, though that is nice.
Very nice.
It's about the evolution of digital asset management. We are moving away from multi-tab scavenger hunts toward intent-centric design. You just state what you want, and the software handles the wildly complex, fragmented mechanics to make it happen.
It completely shifts the burden of technical execution from the user back to the software, which is exactly where it needs to be if decentralized systems are ever going to scale effectively.
Absolutely.
Right.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating broader question for you to mull over.
No, what's that?
Well, if tools like this can successfully collapse an entire multi-network financial workflow involving disparate ledgers and complex cryptography into a single seconds-long transaction,
Yeah.
what other traditionally complicated multi-step digital chores in our lives are about to be reduced to just one click?